This is 1-3, solving equations by multiplying or dividing. So we're going to continue to use inverse operations. So, for instance, in example 1a, we have 1/2 being multiplied to x. So to get rid of the 1/2, we can divide by 1/2. Again, your calculator can do that for you, but we can't divide fractions, so it's actually -4 times the reciprocal, 2 over 1. Some people would have multiplied by 2 right away to cancel that denominator. That's another option that you could do. I can show that one. And so when you divide by 1/2, you're really multiplying by 2, so it's getting -8 equals x as my answer. And if you plug that in, you'll see that a lot of people would have put -2 for the answer, but watch. It wouldn't make sense to be that half of -2 is -4. That doesn't make sense. But half of -8 equals -4. So that's how I know that I'm correct. So again, if you want to do that differently, if you have -4 equals 1/2 x, and you want to multiply by 2 at first to cancel that denominator, you could do that, multiply by 2. You would get -8 equals 1x, divide both sides by 1, or you can just get that 1x is x, so -8 equals x, and that's our final answer. Okay, for the next one, y divided by 3 equals 5. Well, this is fraction bar is division. So to get rid of division, we would multiply both sides by 3. That will eliminate that. And y equals 15. This is like cross simplifying. That's why it eliminates 3 over 1 times y over 3. The 3 is simplified to 1 and 1. And so we get y. 1y equals 15. Okay, we can check our work here too. So 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5, and that's true. 5 equals 5. So y equals 15 is correct. 3z over 4 equals 6. So we can get rid of the division of 4 if we want to at first. We could start there, and we can multiply by 4 to both sides. So we get 3z equals 24. Or we could have started with multiplying by the reciprocal 4/3. Think of it as 3/4 z. I can show that one too. But anyway, divide both sides by 3, and z equals 8. Check your work. 3 times 8 over 4 equals 6. Well, 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 divided by 4 is 6, so that's correct. Z is 8. And if you want to do that differently, so if you have 3, think of it as 3/4 z equals 6, or 3z over 4, it's the same thing. You can multiply by the reciprocal right away. So multiply by 4/3 right away. Those cancel, so z equals 6 times 4/3. You can cross simplify, so you get 1 and 2 right there. And so you would get 2 times 4, which is 8, over 1 times 1 is 1. And so z equals 8, same answer. Okay, division property. So I see my r has -3 being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by -3. r equals -13. Check your work. 39 equals -3 times -13. 39 equals positive 39, so that's correct. Next one, 6x equals 48. X is being multiplied by 6, so I'm going to divide by 6. So x equals 8. Check my work. 6x, so I'm putting 8 there, is equal to 48. 48 equals 48. That's correct. C. Okay, so now we're solving for y, so it's being multiplied by 7, so I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides. 15 over 7 equals y. We can leave our answer just like that. Since 15 over 7 is simplified, doesn't matter that it's improper. It's better that it's improper in algebra. But you can leave your answer just like that. If you were to divide, you would get, let's see, well, 7 goes in twice, and there would be a remainder of 1, so it would be like 2 and 1/7, and you can get the decimal 2 point, whatever 1/7 will be, 1 divided by 7. If you wanted to. Something like that. Whatever this number is. I'm not going to calculate right now. Okay, solve each equation here. So I see that 8/3 is being multiplied by y, so I have two options. I can just start by multiplying by 3, or I can multiply by the reciprocal right away. It's up to you. So if I multiply by the reciprocal, remember that we can cross simplify, so this would be 1 and 2. This would be 1 and 2. And so my answer is 1 over 4. So y equals 1/4. If you want to do that differently, 8/3 y equals 4/6. You can multiply by 3 at first, so it would be like 3 over 1. So 8y equals, well, 4 times 3 is 12, over 6 times 1 is 6, but 12 over 6 simplifies to 2. And then to get y by itself, we would divide by 8. Well, y equals 2/8, but 2/8 simplified is 1/4. So that would be the same answer. A couple different ways to do it. So 5z over 4, you have to decide if you're going to multiply by 4 or multiply by the reciprocal. So if I multiply by 4 to cancel that denominator, then I have 5z equals 40. And then from there, divide both sides by 5, and z equals 8. So you can still check these, but I'm going to actually do it the other way now. So 5, 4, z equals 10. So if I chose to multiply by the reciprocal, those cancel. And then multiply by the reciprocal on the other side, but I can cross simplify 10 and 5. Divide them both by 5, so you get 2 and 1. So then you get 2 times 4 is 8 over 1, which is just 8. So same answer, z equals 8. And the last one, I have 1/7, so I can just go ahead and multiply by 7 if I want to both sides. 7 over 1, really, the reciprocal, or just multiply by 7. And so I would get negative 7 over 6 is equal to x, and I can just stop there because that's simplified. Okay, in the word problem of a group of 13 to 15-year-old girls, 13 to 15-year-old girls were surveyed, not where. Were surveyed. 225, or about 9/10 of the girls, said they could talk on the phone while they watched TV. About how many girls were surveyed? So 9/10 of the girls is 225. So let's write that in an equation form. 9/10 of, so let's multiply by, we'll call that G, is equals 225. So how would we solve this? We can do two things. We can multiply by 10 and then divide by 9, or we can multiply by the reciprocal, 10 over 9. And then we can cross simplify if we need to. So 225 divided by 9 is 25. Oops, 25 and 1. So then I'm multiplying 25 times 10, which is 250 over 1. So the amount of girls that there were 250 girls. We can write that in words if we want to answer the question.